Welcome to e-learning course on applied thermodynamics, module refrigeration cycles, session vapor compression refrigeration and vapor absorption refrigeration. Myself Ramesh BR, assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Jain Institute of Technology, Davangere. We start with vapor compression refrigeration. It is a most practical form of refrigeration that finds use for domestic purposes as well as in many large commercial and industrial applications. Figure shows the refrigeration circuit with the basic components like evaporator, condenser, expansion valve and a reciprocating compressor in its simplest form. And the corresponding TS and pH diagrams are shown here. We are going to analyze a vapor compression refrigeration cycle considering three special cases. The state of refrigerant at the compressor inlet depends on heat absorbed during the evaporation process. The various conditions of the refrigerant are refrigerant vapor dry at the end of compression. The second is refrigerant remaining wet at the end of compression, and refrigerant vapor superheated at the end of compression. So, these are the three special cases in vapor compression cycle. So, now we see considering one of the case, that is the refrigerant vapor is a dry, or we will take it as superheated. So, as the refrigerant is superheated, so we have different processes identified here. The first process is from point 1 to 2. So, to begin with, let us assume that the liquid refrigerant in the evaporator absorbs the heat from the given space, undergoes a change of phase from liquid to dry vapor. The refrigerant dry vapor at condition 1 enters the compressor and compressed to condition 2, and the state is superheated state. The process 2-3 and 3-4 is a condensation process. The high pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant from the compressor enters the condenser at condition 2. De-superheating of the vapor takes place in the discharge line from point 2 to point 3, and in the first few coils of the condenser up to point 3, where the sensible heat is rejected to the surroundings. The vapor refrigerant at condition 3 now condenses to liquid state when the temperature is constant along the line 3-4. The process 4-5, which is a throttling process or expansion process, here the liquid refrigerant at condition 4 enters the expansion valve, where the pressure reduces or pressure drops, but enthalpy remains constant as shown in pH diagram. Due to drop in pressure, the liquid state starts boiling, and the required heat is provided by the refrigerant itself. Consequently, the temperature falls below that of the surrounding atmosphere, and at the end of this process the refrigerant is partly in the liquid and partly in the vapor phase. And the last process is from 0.5 to 1. The refrigerant at condition 5, which is in two phases, that is liquid and vapor, enters the evaporating coil located inside the cabinet in which the substance is kept to be cool. The low temperature refrigerant absorbs heat from the cabinet and evaporates at constant pressure, up to 0.1, and the cycle is completed. The vapor refrigerant now enters the compressor and the cycle repeats. So, we can identify names of different processes. From 0.1 to 2, it is a isentropic compression process. 0.2 to 4 is a heat rejection in condenser, and 0.4 to 5 is a irreversible adiabatic expansion of liquid, and 0.5 to 1 is a heat absorption in the evaporator. Now, we can write COP as refrigerating effect over work input. So, refrigerating effect takes place in the evaporating coil, that is from 0.5 to 0.1. You observe your TS and PV diagram. So, refrigerating effect is given as H1 minus H5, that is final enthalpy minus initial enthalpy during the evaporation process, and work input is the work of compression, and it is given by final enthalpy minus initial enthalpy, that is H2 minus H1. Since from process 4 to 5 throttling process takes place using a expansion device. So, for throttling process the enthalpy remains same, that is H4 is equal to H5. So, now we are going to replace H5 with H4 and the expression becomes H1 minus H4 over H2 minus H1. Here in this expression H2, that is it is a point in superheated region, or the condition number 2 represents the superheated vapor condition of the refrigerant. So, it is given by H2 is equal to H3 plus Cp into T superheated. This is a temperature which is called as T superheated minus T saturation, and this is a temperature which is called as T saturation. So, using this expression we will find out H2, and then by having all other parameters we will get COP of the case when the vapor or the refrigerant is in superheated condition at the end of compression. Moving on to the second one, when the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of the compression. So, at the end of compression you can observe 0.2. So, the vapor condition is dry and saturated, and this is a saturation line. Here it is liquid line and here it is saturation vapor line. So, here also we have total 4 processes we can identify. The first process is from 1 to 2, which is isentropic compression process. So, vapor is compressed from 0.1 to 2 in compressor, and heat rejection takes place from 0.2 to 3, where heat is rejected with the help of a condenser to the surrounding, and from 0.3 to 0.4 we are going to have irreversible adiabatic expansion in a throttling device, and from 0.4 to 1, which is a refrigeration effect taking place in a evaporating coil, and heat is absorbed by the evaporator from 0.4 to 1. So, as a result of compression we can observe increase in temperature from T1 to T2 and increase in pressure from P1 to P2. And in the second process 2 to 3, which is a heat rejection in condenser, so temperature remains constant from T2 to T3, but phase change takes place from 0.2 to 0.3, that is from vapor state to liquid state. 0.2 represents saturated vapor condition and 0.3 represents saturated liquid condition. So, phase change takes place when the temperature is constant, and as well as the pressure will also remain constant during this process. And then from 3 to 4 is a irreversible adiabatic expansion taking place from 0.3 to 0.4. So, as you can observe here, the refrigerant partly gets converted into liquid and partly will be in vapor form as a result of expansion. So, the part of the heat present in the refrigerant itself is used for converting part of the liquid into vapor during this expansion process. And here enthalpy remains same because the expansion is a throttling process. So, H3 will be equal to H4. And the last process is 4 to 1, which is evaporation process. Here temperature remains constant, but the vapor refrigerant will get converted into partly converted into vapor form by absorbing heat from the refrigerated space. So, pressure also remains constant. This is how the cycle is going to work with a dry saturated condition of the vapor at the end of compression. So, COP can be written as refrigerating effect over work input. Refrigerating effect takes place from 4 to 1. So, it is written as H1 minus H4, and compression work is from 1 to 2, that is H2 minus H1. From your pH diagram, we have H3 is equal to H4. So, replacing H4 with H3, we will get H1 minus H3 over H2 minus H1, and this is the expression which is used to find out coefficient of performance of a vapor compression refrigeration system when vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. So, next is when the vapor is wet at the end of compression. So, this is a condition. See, point number 2 is not on the saturation line. So, it is in between saturated liquid line and the vapor line. That means the condition of the vapor is wet here. So, and the process is same. The 1 to 2 is compression, 2 to 3 is condensation, 3 to 4 is expansion, and 4 to 1 is evaporation. So, pressure increases, temperature remains constant here, and here pressure decreases, and here temperature constant. Heat is rejected in condensation, heat is absorbed from the space to be refrigerated during evaporation, and throttling is taken place from 0.3 to 0.4 where enthalpy remains constant. And we have 4 processes. The first process is isentropic compression from 1 to 2, second is heat rejection in condensation from 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 is irreversible adiabatic expansion from 0.3 to 4, and 4 to 1 is heat absorption in the evaporation. And here at the end of compression, the condition of the vapor will be wet, because you can notice here the point 2 is in liquid plus vapor region. So, vapor remains in wet state, and COP is given by refrigerating effect over a work input. Refrigerating effect is H1 minus H4 and work input is H2 minus H1. As we know from pH diagram, H3 is equal to H4. So, we can write it as H1 minus H3 over H2 minus H1 as the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator or refrigeration cycle. Moving on to next one is vapor absorption refrigeration system. So, we make use of a flow diagram to understand the working and construction of a vapor absorption refrigeration system. Vapor absorption refrigeration system works differently by using heat source such as combustion of liquefied petroleum gas, kerosene fueled flame, solar thermal energy, or an electric heating element. You can observe here. These heat sources make the system work smoothly and quietly than the compressor motor used in vapor compression system. Further, the working of an absorption system depends upon the refrigerant used. The refrigerant must be highly soluble in liquid known as absorbent. The most common combination are ammonia, which is a refrigerant, and water is a absorbent. And water refrigerant, we have one more option, that is water as refrigerant and lithium bromide as absorbent. Vapor absorption system based on ammonia water has been the oldest and commonly used refrigeration system even in today's application. Vapor absorption refrigeration is used in recreational vehicles that carry LP gas, industrial environments where exhaust waste heat can be used to provide the energy needed to drive the cooling system. It is also used as chiller in office buildings and hospitals to chill a brine solution that is circulated throughout the building. Now we see the working of a vapor absorption system. To begin with, let us assume the liquid ammonium refrigerant in the evaporator absorbs heat from the inside of the cabin and undergoes phase change from liquid to vapor. Here heat is absorbed and phase change takes place from liquid to vapor. This low pressure and low temperature ammonia vapor is passed to the absorber, which contains weak solution of water and ammonia. Since water has the capacity to absorb ammonia vapor, the low pressure ammonia vapor from the evaporator is dissolved in the weak ammonia solution, producing strong ammonia solution. The strong ammonia solution is then pumped to the generator, where it is heated by an external source. Due to heating, the vapor gets separated from the solution. The solution, which is hot and weak, then flows back into the absorber from the pressure reducing valve, that is a restriction valve, which maintains the pressure differential between the high and low sides of the system. While the high pressure, high temperature ammonia vapor refrigerant leaves the generator and enters the condenser, where it gives away heat to the circulating cooling medium. It may be a cold water. The vapor refrigerant gets condensed to liquid state. The high pressure and low temperature ammonia liquid refrigerant now enters the expansion valve, where it is expanded to a low pressure, low temperature. The low pressure and low temperature liquid refrigerant now enters the evaporator, where it absorbs heat from the cabinet and evaporates, thereby producing cooling effect. The cycle repeats again and again. In addition to this, a receiver may be used in between condenser and expansion valve, which stores a sufficient amount of liquid ammonium required for a cycle. And this is how a vapor absorption refrigeration system is going to work. Now we see the coefficient of performance of this. The coefficient of performance of is evaluated on the basis of thermal energy input in the generator. Here this is an input, since the pump work input is negligibly small. So COP can be written as heat absorbed during the evaporation over work done by the pump plus heat supplied in heat exchange. So due to pump of work is very small, sometimes it can be neglected. And this is the end of session on vapor compression refrigeration and vapor absorption refrigeration system. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe to my channel BR Mech Academy.